Hi guys, Creative Katie here. What you're looking at is my completed index card a day 2020. Or, we could call it art journal a day because technically I didn't use an ICAD. What I did use for my journal, I repurposed my old mini happy planner. So this measures about 4 3/4 by 7. So very similar to an ICAD size, and it was something that I had. And it's a less than perfect substrate, so I took poetic or artistic license and chose to do that. So my pages started off as just my regular happy planner sheets with all my writing on them from past years. Now the papers of the Happy Planner actually stand up to a lot of the mixed media fairly well. You got to be a little careful with around the punches, but beyond that. So what I did to prepare this, just to quickly recap, and I will put a link to the playlist where you can find the startup video for my Index Card a Day 2020, as well as videos for every week. I did one video with 4 tutorials for every week of the Index Card a Day challenge. So starting off with regular Happy Planner. Now a lot of them had a lot of writing, so what I did is I got out my gel plate, my 8x10 gel plate, and I applied gesso to them. So I started with some that were just gessoed. Just enough to knock back whatever writing I had on there, push it back. Then what I also did with the gel plate is I pulled out my stencils and stamps, some of my homemade stamps, and I just went to town and I got a whole bunch of gel prints. I did on both sides. I spent several hours just getting it ready, and I wanted to do this ahead of time because when I did the Index Card a Day, I wanted to minimize the amount of time it was going to take me to do each index card. I didn't want to spend a lot of time. So I wanted to have some Insta backgrounds ready to go. And I loved many of them. And when it came to doing the page, that really gave me a huge jump start to the creative process. It lessened the time, gave me a color scheme, pointed me in a pattern direction. So it's a great way to cut time off your creative sit-down time if you want. Sit down during one session and get a lot of those backgrounds done. And then some of them I didn't like, and I ended up putting a coat of gesso on it and painting it out. So you always have that. And as you can see, I have many gel prints, a rainbow of gel prints here that I can continue to do some pages, and you're going to see me over the next year, and I will add them to this journal, or I will buy more rings and I'll make my own covers, and it'll be another repurposed journal. So it's a great way of using something that you may already have or can get your hands on. You can ask friends, or sometimes at the end of, a couple months into 2020, these went on sale. So I was able to get a Happy Planner for $3. Well, as an art journal goes, you can't even get the rings for $3. So I have some larger size ones in my stash that at some point in time you're going to see me doing. But let's get on to the flip through. I always love doing the flip through. There should be about 36 of these if I did nine weeks for each week. And again, I took poetic or artistic license instead of doing it every day because I knew I couldn't do that and do some of the other videos that I wanted to provide for you. I said I'm going to do 3 or 4. It ended up being 4 for each week. And that's what I accomplished. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and let's enjoy the flip through. Choose Love. Again, most of these I started with that Insta background, that gel print. That saved a lot of time. And a lot of the sentiments that you see here come from my various sentiment packs, which you can purchase at Ninny's Napkins. And the link is in the description box below. So I'm going to be turning this a little bit because the orientation changes. Love the colors here. Seize the day. I didn't follow a lot of Daisy Yellow's prompts this year, but I did kind of pick themes for each week. It may have been a color, it may have been a garden theme or sea theme. Another thing that I did a lot of is I used some of my stamps, which are smaller scale, perfect for this size, but even using many stamps, multiple stamps to build a focal point. So I did a lot. This is a stamp here, this is a stamp here. So I dusted off my stamps and used them. Use some magazine pictures. Printed out a lot of my sentiments on adhesive sticker backing, and then it was just peel and stick. Again, not much changed with the background. Added a little stamping and just did the focal point. Several have napkins, white and black background with colored. We're all snowflakes, unique and one of a kind. Love the tapestry look on the back of this. Using things in my stash. That was another one of my goals. Things that I've had forever. Some things that have been floating around in my folders, in my big blue bin for years. Found a home. Really tested out my modeling paste on tissue papers. Pre-done embellishments that you can just easily put down. Again, shortening the time you're sitting there because you have a lot of elements pre-done. Love this page. Love the background. Now a lot of the Happy Planner, some of the words, some of my writing is peeking through. Don't often use yellow. Those bees came from a napkin. Great source of focal images. Oh, the texture on this is amazing. Best escape anyone can have. That's what beach stands for. Color scheme. I love the turquoise with the reds and yellows and oranges on both of these, right? Not all stars belong to the sky. One of my newest purchases, the Tim Holtz Crazy Dogs. Just got it. You'll see me using more with that. And I do plan on making a sentiment pack. Pet Talk. Be you, the world will adjust. And the Crazy Cat. There's no need to repeat yourself. I ignored you fine the first time. Very different for me. I love making dream catchers using different items. Here I've used a flower and butterflies. I'm planning on using some with seashells. Here again, we've got stamps, small stamps, but I've used lots of them to make the focal image. The earth laughs in flowers. Some empty pages. Ah stands for always have high hopes. That one I actually followed one of Daisy Yellow's prompts. I forgot that I had used this sentiment twice. That's not bad. 1 out of 36. Made this flower out of seashell stencil. So looking at your stencils in different ways. Totally love this one. The background, the gel print, the stenciling, the focal image, everything. Finger painted florals. Great color combo, the purple, pink, and the teal. And as you can see, many of my pages, blue, teal, pink, magenta. Again, ombre, I love that look. I will do that more with my gel prints. Put that variation in color mixing and have that for a gel print. I really like the effect. Dusting off my Julie Nutting dolls, giving them some pages, using stencils for borders. Using different color schemes that I don't normally use, although I did end up in my happy color place. Purple and pink. This was a napkin, and then I painted over top of it to get that painterly effect. Gecko or lizard. Using white focal images on colored backgrounds. White and black. I think this, I just love the look of this. I'm leaving the focal images black and white as opposed to painting them or colorizing them. This was one of my own photos from my hydrangea out back. I turned it into a dress. I loved working on these smaller substrates. They're quick, they're easy, there's very little pressure because it's a small space. Minimize the amount of techniques you throw at it because you're not going to necessarily see it. So keeping it simple. That being said, I'm really happy now to close the book on this and start working on bigger substrates. So if you like any of these, please check out the playlist ICAD 2020. Every week, 4 tutorials, lots of techniques. It's great for beginners and for those of us that aren't such beginners, but it's a good refresher. It's like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that technique. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned, lots more to come.